Colossians 3:16. Let the word of Christ dwell in you, richly teaching and exhorting one another with all wisdom, singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, all with grace in your hearts to God. This is part of my series going through Colossians 3:8-16, and we've been for a while now in Colossians 3:16. As we began to explore it, we discovered that this seems to indicate what should be part of the life when it comes to the church. The word of Christ, whether in each person richly, that's what we are aiming for, right? Out of that also flows all these things in a never-ending cycle of sweetness. That is it. One flowing to the other. And we have singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. I want to just caution, let's not do too much of saying, okay, what did they do in the olden days? Let's now make sure that that's exactly what we are doing. I don't think that is necessarily helpful. I'm talking about when it comes to music now. I don't think that's helpful. Don't say, okay, they didn't have drums in the olden days, so we should not do drums now. But there was an olden day where they had no piano too. Should we go back to that olden days? It becomes messy when we start playing this game of let's go back, let's do it the way it's done somewhere. But let's understand the principle and let's understand what is happening around us. That's what I wanted to shed light on today, about what is happening around us. At the time this was written, if you tell somebody, let's sing psalms, which group of people do you think will most likely say, yeah, I want to sing a psalm? Those will be the Jews, right? They associate their experience of God with the psalm. The different psalm captures different times in their life. It's been part of their community. So when they became Christians and they begin to realize and they begin to be taught that a lot of these psalms are connected to Christ, it begins to have new meaning to them and they begin to have a fresh understanding of the psalms. I proposed something yesterday about Psalm. There's an emphasis on the Old Testament revelation of the Father. That's what they had in the Old Testament. And hymns, there's a freshness, in my opinion, exploration of Christ and what he has done, because a lot of hymns that we see come after the ascension of Christ, and we've been exploring the riches of Christ in the hymns. And then I say spiritual songs, in a way, it's an emphasis on the Holy Spirit, not so much talking about the Holy Spirit, but the spontaneity of it. So, but I want to give another frame now to understanding it, to say that there could be a cultural frame to it. There could be a timeline issue here in which, in the 4th century, maybe certain people that are part of the church, because the church is Jews and Gentiles, right? And then people that are part of the church will appreciate the psalms, and some people may not appreciate because they don't have the background. They are not Jews, probably pagans before becoming Christians. So the singing of psalms may not connect with them. So it's not going to come from their hearts to God, right? Because that's what we'll see here. Say, all with the grace in your hearts to God. That doesn't connect with them. So Paul, in a way, here is not giving us a spiritual outline, probably the genre of music that are available at that time, that the people can easily recognize. And when it comes to our time to see different genres, there's no way he said, let's not do this kind of music. No. He sort of classifies them as singing. All of them have to do with singing. Talk about the psalms, talk about the hymns, talk about the spiritual songs. That's the classification. There could be different classification of songs. We can call it slow song. We can call it one fast song. We can call it something you read from an hymn sheet. I'm saying all this is acceptable, but there has to be a sense in which we are sensitive to the understanding of the people, not trying to impose some outside categories, but to recognize what is already a category among the people and say, whether you're singing this one or singing that one or approach it this way, let all still be with grace in your hearts to God. I hope you get what I'm saying. I'm saying there should be some cultural nuances when it comes to music. That's what I'm saying. It should reflect not so much coming and imposing. This is for cross-cultural people now, people who are going to different nations. Not so much coming and imposing a kind of a form, but maybe observing what the people are already connected with and in a way facilitating that. God bless you. See you later.